Hi everyone. I wanted to take some time with you in this video to unpack the first prompt, the first writing prompt for the quarter, because it is a prompt that comes in many parts. You'll see as we start reading over the In Defense of assignment that it's a two-part assignment, and then part one has 7 sub-assignments. So I want to make sure that we're all on the same page about how to go about writing this prompt and make sure that there's no confusion on what you need to do. So I'm just going to pull up the prompt so we can all look at it together. And we won't read all of it, but we'll skim through some parts and make sense of everything overview. So this is the In Defense of assignment, we're going to call it. But we're going to break it into 2 parts, as you see in the title: In Defense of Style Portfolio and the In Defense of Essay. So already off the bat, we see that one of them is an essay. It is a persuasive essay. That's the second part of the assignment, but the first part we're calling the Style Portfolio. And as you know from the first 2 videos, that in the beginning of the quarter we're focusing on style skills, sentence level style skills. It gets your voice and gets your tone on the page in interesting and engaging ways. So these are not essays. We're not going to call them essays. We're going to call them short descriptive writing exercises that will make up the style portfolio. But let me just read the In Defense of overview, and then we'll talk about the style portfolio, since that is where we're starting. The overview says, in the first week of class, I'll be asking you to choose a topic that you will write about in the In Defense of Style Portfolio and the In Defense of Essay. This is a 2-part assignment, and because you'll be writing about this topic for the next 5 weeks, it's important to make sure you've chosen a focused topic that you won't get bored with. Your topic needs to be a physical thing or a physical action that you love, but that in our current culture is otherwise thought of as mundane, unnecessary, boring, irrelevant, forgotten, or generally in need of praise. We'll talk in this video about what makes a good topic, come up with some examples, and discuss tips on how to narrow in on a focus. We're going to get to those topics in just a little bit, but the important thing to take away from this overview is that you are choosing a topic this week. It's a topic that you're going to write about in your first writing assignment, the physical senses details writing assignment that is due on Friday. And you're going to write about that for the next 5 weeks. So we need to make sure from the very beginning of the quarter that you're choosing a topic you want to write about and can sustain writing about for those next 5 weeks. Now, just so you don't get too overwhelmed by this choice, if after writing the first writing exercise, the physical senses writing exercise, you realize that you don't actually like that topic or don't want to write about it, I will allow you to change early on. You're not absolutely bound to it once you've started, but after we've written about it for a couple short exercises, you're going to be having to stick with it at that point, because moving backwards would cause too much work. So we want to make sure that we choose a good topic, and part of this video is giving you advice on how to do so. So let's move into the In Defense of Style Portfolio. We'll have to talk a little bit maybe about the In Defense of Essay to make sense of how to choose a topic, but really I want to keep the focus of this video on the style portfolio. So you have your topic, and we'll talk about how to choose that. And this is what we're going to do with the style portfolio. It says writing about the same topic multiple times, each time focusing on a particular skill that will help you describe that topic, will help you begin to understand that writing is not just about content, what you write about, but about the style you write in, how you deliver that content and why, and how your stylistic choices create a specific effect for your audience. If you remember from the syllabus, in the section of the course objectives, I think in how to be a good reader and how to be a good writer, it creates quite a bit of emphasis on that concept, that we don't just write about content, but we focus on how we deliver that content and why. And this assignment is really trying to highlight that. So you will describe your topic in all 7 of the skill practices listed below, and each skill practice needs to be 200 words minimum. So Just to clarify from the very beginning, you're not doing all of these at the same time. You're not doing 1 through 6 all at the same time. They are scheduled in the course calendar and scheduled in modules to do one at a time. So first you'll do the physical senses, you'll finish it, and then later on you'll come back and you'll do another one. So we're pacing this out over the first 2.5 weeks. All the prompts here, I'm not going to read them now. You'll see them here and you'll see them in the modules along the way. But again, we're writing about them to help us write in close detail. You see, that's the focus of the first two. We're going to practice in writing in different sentence styles. Command sentences, interrogative or question sentences, and make sense of how to change our voice by changing the type of sentences that we write. We're going to extend our understanding of writing in detail by practicing metaphor. We're going to go back to different kinds of sentence construction with a syntax skill practice. And then we're going to focus on sound as well, and the sound of our language. And these are going to be the 6 categories that we write about the first 2.5 weeks. So we need to talk about topics, and that's where we'll end today. But what will make a good topic? Let me scroll down to the In Defense of Essay. I just want to read maybe the opening portion of it, which is going to be repeated from the first portion a little bit, but it brings up Barbara Holland here, and she's going to help us understand what makes a good topic for this assignment. So here it says, in the essay portion of the assignment, you need to develop an argument that defends the thing or action that you love, but that in our current culture, aka context, is otherwise thought of as mundane, unnecessary, boring, irrelevant, forgotten, or generally in need of praise. Your essay should be an imitation of Barbara Holland's Endangered Pleasures, and that's our course text. Maybe I'll just end it there. We don't need to read the specifications of that essay portion yet. I'm going to come back to video so we can talk a little bit about topics. So we have Barbara Holland, Endangered Pleasures. You've already seen the subtitle, In Defense of Naps, Bacon, Martini, and Other Indulgences. We're reading essays once we get to the middle of the quarter about naps, about taking trains, about reading books, about cats. What else are we reading about? Shopping. And each of these topics Barbara Holland has chosen because she thinks that they are activities or things that are endangered of people taking pleasure in or enjoying. And she's kind of writing against this idea that in our current culture we're too busy, we work too hard, we have to be productive at all times, and in that place we don't slow down to enjoy simple pleasures. It's another way to think about the topic you're going to choose, a simple pleasure or an endangered pleasure that you love and other people don't. So we have Barbara Holland first and foremost to guide us in choosing a topic. Now, this is how I like to think about it. Start thinking physical thing or physical action. Sometimes if you get a little bit more into abstract actions, like, for instance, writing, even though that's the topic of this course, it's limited in the amount of physical detail that you can write about. So you might want to consider that too, that the less physical action or topic you choose, it's going to be a little bit harder to generate description for. So you want something, a topic that is physical, that has concrete action or concrete texture, or it makes noise, or you can feel it, or you can see it, things like that. And those Barbara Holland topics that I just mentioned all are fitting for that requirement. Now, I've also had students in the past write about things like video games. I've had students defend country villages, and they do that as opposed to writing about living in the city. I've had students defend rain, specifically to a Southern California audience. A student defended Muay Thai as a sport for exercise. I've had students defend pizza. I've also had students defend the same exact things that Barbara Holland defends, and that is an option for you. If you want to write about taking trains as your topic or riding on a train, do so. If you want to write about taking a nap, please do so. If you want to write about reading books or reading physical books, you can do so. They're not off limits because Barbara Holland wrote about them. But the point about choosing the topic, the most important point I think, is choosing a topic, an action or a thing that you actually really enjoy doing and that you know a lot about and that you've done many times. Um, this will really give you that personal connection to your topic and that motivation to describe it in a way that shows it to an audience as something fresh and enjoyable and pleasurable. And your reader, first and foremost, needs to believe that you enjoy it and that you take pleasure in it. So finding something that you actually enjoy is really important. But then from the very beginning, you do need to be thinking of your topic in the long term, not just in the short term. Not just a topic that you like and like to write about or take pleasure in, but also that needs a defense. And so you got to think about choosing a topic in these two ways. You love it, you take pleasure in it, but you're also recognizing that someone or some group of people or some context doesn't appreciate it, doesn't like it, doesn't think it's necessary, because you're eventually going to have to defend your topic to them in the essay portion. So keep all those things in mind as you choose your topic. If you have any questions about a choice of topic, you can email me. You can chat with me in office hours, which are on Mondays and Wednesdays from 4 to 5. Just pop on to Canvas chat and just say, hey, I'm thinking about writing this. What do you think? And I'll give you my feedback. But take some time to choose your topic because you will be with it for the next 5 weeks. So that's all for this video. The last thing I would say is read the prompt closely again before you go to do that first writing assignment, the details physical senses writing assignment that's due by Friday. Read the prompt again, make sure that you're choosing a topic in the requirements and that you're accomplishing the prompt for that first writing exercise as best you can. Okay, good luck.